Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Wildflower. This is Prabir Dash. Okay, I hope all of you are fine at your home. I am quite well. So guys, in the previous class we have discussed about the poem, about the poet and about the title of the poem, The Daffodils. We have known a lot of things about the poet William Wordsworth, about his family, about his education and about his works. Okay, and it is the time to start the next class, to read the poem and explain the poem. So before starting today's class, I would like to say something to all of you. Please subscribe my channel and like and share all the classes, okay, so that other can see my classes. So let's get started. Okay, so previous classes we have known that when the poet, along with his sister Dorothy and his friend St. Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, when they were returning to Grasmere, at that moment they saw a, a heap, a host of golden daffodils. So after that, poet had decided to write a poem on this particular situation, on this particular scene. So after that, in the year 1802, he had written the poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, which is named after it was changed into the daffodils. Okay, so at first I will recite the poem once, after that I will explain. Okay, let's get started. The daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floated on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling wave in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Okay, maybe I have recite this poem quickly, but don't mind. Actually, I have no so much time to read it, so that I'm going to explain this poem line by line and stanza by stanza. If you see, you can see that the poem is consisted of 4 stanzas, and each stanza carries 6 lines. Okay, so this is the structure of this poem. So you can see. So first stanza: I wandered lonely as a cloud. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floated on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So here, at the very beginning of the poem, if we observe, we can see that the poet told us about his status, that he was lonely. Okay, so here the poet said that he wandered lonely as a cloud. Why did the poet say this word or said this line, that I wandered lonely as a cloud? What does a cloud do? A cloud has no works. It's a non-living things. What is works? Its works is only to move from one side to another. If you see over your head, you can see the sky is full of cloud, and it was running from one places to another places. So the poet compares himself with the cloud and said he was, because he had no work in his hand, so that he was wandering without aimlessly. The person who had no work and he was traveling, or he was journey in a journey, is called wandered. Okay, so I wandered lonely as a cloud, look like a cloud, I am wandering, the poet said, that floats on high over vales and hills. This line is identified, or this lines indicates only the cloud. That cloud had no work, it only moves from one place to another place, from where to where it flows, it blows. Okay, it's high over vales and hills. Vales, you know, the places which is between two mountains, curved places situated between two high mountains is called vales. You can say valley. Okay, or hills. And hills, everyone knows about hills, mountain. Okay, that floats means those things which blow over the sky, or not over the sky, uh, under the sky. Okay, when all at once I saw a crowd, it means in the on his way, when he was thinking, when he was wandering, okay, lonely, suddenly he saw a crowd, not a people crowd, it was crowd consist it was a crowd of golden daffodils. A host is an example of collective noun. Okay, so a host of golden daffodils. So when the poet was wandering without aimlessly, okay, when the poet was wandering aimlessly without any work in his hand, he was wandering. So at that moment he saw a host of golden daffodils. It means he saw a group of daffodils. Okay, so where did he see the golden daffodils? Beside the lake, beneath the trees. The golden daffodils were beneath the trees on the bank of the lake. The name of the lake was Wordsworth, and beside there are so many trees were there, and beneath the trees there were the field of which was filled with daffodils. Okay, and what were the daffodils doing? Fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Breeze means air, wind. When wind is blowing, so at that moment any substances on on its way comes, it shaking its head or shaking the substance. Okay, so fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Fluttering means, you can say in Hindi, farfarana. Okay, and dancing in the breeze. With the breeze, the daffodils were dancing and fluttering, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So come to the next stanza. So everyone, is there any doubt on the basis of I have explained from stanza number 1? So come to the next stanza, that is stanza number 2. Okay, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Okay, continuous as the stars that shine. Everyone, you are well known about the stars. Where do we see the stars? Basically, we see the stars on the sky in the night time, at the night time. Okay, so here the poet compares himself, not himself, here the poet compares the daffodils with the shining stars in the sky. What does the star do? The star shining in the sky, na? So continuous, it means it has no break. The star has no break to blinking. Okay, continuous, it was blinking over our head. So okay, as the stars that shine and twinkle. Twinkle means timtimana. It means twinkle. All of you know about twinkle. Twinkle means, so twinkle means shine with a gleam that changes continuously. So continuous as the stars that shine a twinkle on the Milky Way. As you know that our galaxy is Milky Way galaxy. So in the Milky Way galaxy there are so many stars that you could not be counted. So it was constantly giving us light. Okay. So this stressed in never ending line. So here the poet compares the daffodils with the shining star. Okay. This stressed in never ending, here they is referred, they, this word is referred to the daffodils. Stressed, expandable, this spreading. Okay, in never ending line. Its situation is never ending line along the margin of a bay. Bay means here exactly the lake. Okay, here exactly the poet said about the lake. So the poet said that the daffodils were stretching the margin of the bay. It means along with the corner of the lake, or the daffodils were situated. 10,000 saw I at a glance. At a glance. It means in a look. At a look, the poet could see 10,000 daffodils at a time. So whenever the poet saw to the daffodils, he saw 10,000 in a look. Okay, tossing their heads in sprightly dance, and the poet thought that the daffodils were so proud, they are so happy that they are tossing. It means nodded from shaking their heads here and there in the both side, their heads in sprightly happily. They were so happy that they were dancing. It was looking that it was dancing, the daffodils were dancing. Okay, so the poet compares in this the compares the daffodils with the shining stars in the Milky Way galaxy, and he said about the position, about the situation of the daffodils where it was lying. Okay, and the poet also said that at a glance I saw 10,000 daffodils. Okay, and it was so happy that they were tossing, they were shaking, they were nodding their heads happily. Okay, the waves beside them, the lake was situated beside the daffodils. Where was the daffodils? So beside the daffodils there was the lake, and basically there is lake, so there will be water. So the waves means the water beside them danced along with the daffodils. The waves started dancing. According to the poet, actually the poet was making writing his poem so that poem should be very interesting, so that he was adding some human attributes, that is called metaphor. Okay, he was adding human attributes, that was dancing. It was the what it is the work of a human being, not the non-living things. Okay, but here the poet was resembles, okay, sparkling waves in glee. So the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. So when the daffodils were dancing, so at that moment along with them the waves were started dancing, and they were sparkling means it was blinking, look like the stars. Actually there was sun on the head. Okay, so over the head, so when it rays was effect on the waves, it was blinking, sparkling. Okay, so Outdid means performance, but the performance between the daffodils and the waves, whose performance was best? Waves' performance was best. A poet could not but be gay. So at that moment, the poet said about himself that at this moment, any poet who could see this beautiful scenario, after that, he will not be sad. He will be very happy after seeing this scene in such a jocund company means friend. In such kind of time, in such kind of situation, the poet thought that the daffodils and the waves were his friend. I gazed and gazed continuously. The poet was looking towards the scene. It means the dancing of the daffodils and the dancing of the waves. What wealth show the show to me had brought. And after that he was thinking that this beautiful scenario it is worthy. No one can see it properly, and if anyone can see it properly, but they cannot understand it. Okay, so the poet, the wealth means property, estate. Okay, what wealth the show to me had brought. It means the poet thought that this beautiful scenario gives me experience, gave me pleasure, gave me happiness, and it was the best wealth ever in the world. For oft, far away, after that, after observing, okay, after observing, or when he went to his house, okay, far off, after some time, when on my couch I lie. Here the poet had returned to his house, and when he was taking rest in his house on a couch means sofa, I lie. And he, when he was taking rest in vacant or in pensive mood, and at that time his status was in vacant means empty, and or in pensive means the person who thought about different kind of things, one by one, various things together thought is called pensive mood. It means when there is no particular thought in his mind, so it is called pensive mood. They flash upon that inward eye. It means when the poet had no work and he was taking rest on his sofa, so at that moment that flash means that scenario comes upon over his inner eye means in his heart. Okay, which is the bliss of solitude, loneliness. Okay, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. And whenever the poet think about the daffodils, and his heart started dancing with the daffodils, what he gained in the corner beside the lake. Okay, so I hope all of you have understand it. Okay, so that's it. If there are any queries, please comment me, and please subscribe my channel and like and share my classes. Okay, so everyone be careful and stay good. Till then, take care and bye bye.